The world of gaming voice acting is on fire, and some recent information has came to light that brings the very profession of voice acting in an endangered state. So, hello guys, I'm Zmore, the dad in DPS, and today we are going to talk about voice acting and AI, and my opinions on what's going on surrounding it. So, AI. Now, in recent years, AI has went leaps and bounds and improved at such a drastic rate. It's been used for all manner of useful things such as music, art, scripts, and in some cases essays and legal advice. Do not use ChatGPT for legal advice. And with its meteoric rise, problems, or rather the start of problems, have begun to appear that heavily involve gaming and the voice acting community in particular. Now, when it comes to AI, there is an incredibly large amount of ways that you can use it in order to be incredibly useful and optimize the game development cycle. It's great for helping improve performance in games. Monster Hunter Worlds, I'm fairly certain, uses NVIDIA's AI in order to do that. And top of that, it has the ability of creating procedurally generated landscapes and environments, which at times can be at the expense of quality. Fallout is quite a very specific one that I'm fairly certain uses AI to generate some of its landscapes, and sometimes that can be a little bit janky. However, that's not always going to be the case. With AI, it is constantly evolving and improving, and we have no real idea of where it's going to lead us in a few years. It could end up being nigh untellable whether an environment was made by a person or the AI. And this comes with a terrifying prospect for people in the gaming industry, and currently, in particular, for people that are voice actors. And this, as we've all seen, is very prevalent at the moment, where we're seeing a lot of people using deep fakes and AI replications of famous people, whether it be presidents, politicians in general, or actors. And at the moment, these do feel incredibly obvious, and there's countless examples all over YouTube. But in a few years' time, who's to say that these won't be very undistinguishable from a real actor, a real person speaking and using their inflections. And you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of these videos, and I recommend you look around to see how silly some of them sound. But imagine we get to a point where they sound indistinguishable from the person portrayed. Now, what prompted me to make this rant was a Beliar video following this topic. And I'd recommend that you watch that video. I'll link it down below because it's very interesting, and obviously they go into a lot more detail and a lot more very thoroughly and meticulously researched information. I'm just a man shouting at a screen about things that I have looked up myself, but I'm, yeah, again, only one man. Now, the information that's came to light involving EA specifically is that they have released a contract to people in Apex Legends voice acting community, and there's a French studio that is now on strike involving this. And essentially, the contract has an AI clause in there. Now, what this clause essentially allows EA to do is to take any performance, past, present, or future, from these voice actors that they are hired to do and enter it into a generative AI. From here, they're going to create essentially an AI actor from each person, and they can then use it as freely as they wish using legalese and a bunch of shenanigans. And the problem with this is that currently, as it stands, it's not really much of a risk to voice actors. AI is very easy to tell apart from a real person speaking. But as time goes on, that is becoming harder and harder to basically tell. And in a few years' time, we could have AI voice actors that are indistinguishable from the real thing. And this is the cherry on this cake, is that they can use said AI doppelgangers on any other projects in the future and not pay the original actor. Essentially, cutting them out altogether and meaning that they can't get any voice acting work ever again, in theory, because this is something EA is doing. But if other companies start to do it across the board, this could eliminate the voice acting community altogether and put a lot of people, a lot of very talented people, out of work. Now, I'm probably watering down the details and the point of this, but it's a scary thought. And hopefully, shit like this is made illegal and is never allowed to come to pass. I support voice actors being allowed to perform their craft and be without fear of being made completely obsolete by the oppression of the dawn of AI. And I understand game companies want to make a profit, but we are very close to losing the very heart and soul of gaming itself. And the thing is, this problem isn't going to be just exclusive for gaming. There are lots of things like voice acting in animation, narration for documentaries, and all manner of different things. And all of this could be replaced by this practice if other companies get on board. And we all know that companies like to make money. It's all about shareholders and stock market and blah, 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 and things that I really hate. And it is genuinely terrifying to think that a lot of talented people could be out of work just because companies are greedy and want to make a quick profit and essentially own your voice, your personality, your freaking movements. Now, conversely, we also have things like the current strike with the Screen Actors Guild of America, or SAG-AFTRA versus Hoyoverse, the people that bring Genshin Impact to you. Now, I'm not really a big fan of Genshin Impact. I don't have any dogs in this hunt, but SAG-AFTRA claims to be striking for AI protections. But if you do some quick research, in turn, they're also trying to turn the projects involved into union-only projects, which directly and negatively affect many non-union voice actors in the English voice acting community by essentially forcing them to join SAG or get lost, which has turned into a massive shitstorm on Twitter, which I know is a tautology because Twitter is itself a massive shitstorm, but it goes to show that you shouldn't always trust one side completely, because at the end of the day, we're always looking after our own interests. And just because someone wants not to be screwed over doesn't mean they aren't actively trying to screw you over. And on top of that, they have done a lot of very shady shit involving basically cyberbullying he's a Japanese voice actor he's an American voice actor who lives in Japan, and there's a whole thing about it. Again, go do some research on it. There's a lot of good information out there. But essentially, these people are being assholes and scumbags, and then trying to take the moral high ground by grandstanding. And it's just very much, you can't trust anybody in this scenario, because even the people that you want to root for are being dicks. So as we're coming to the end of the video, I'll just give my brief opinion on what I think about AI in general. I say brief, but I'm never brief. AI is an incredibly useful tool, and I think at the rate it's improving and advancing, hopefully it'll continue to improve and enrich our lives in a way that is affordable and easy for people to use in general. However, I draw the line at the point where it starts removing people from an entire industry, where it removes skilled labor, whether it be voice acting or, programmers or people that design things in video games. If it removes them from the industry altogether, then I think that there needs to be some strict or laws in general involving the limitations of AI and its use in X, Y, and Z industry. Because at the end of the day, what we're going to end up with is animation and gaming becoming soulless, absolute monstrous husks of nothing. We're already seeing it with a lot of things where AI has clearly been used to make things, and dialogue feels flat and awful, and it just doesn't feel like a person was involved. And we already see this on YouTube. You see it with those AI generated videos where the robot voice talks about a made up crap thing that someone probably pulled out of their backside or Chat GPT. And there's a lot of that kicking around, and I fucking hate them. They're awful. They're absolutely awful to watch. And you're scrolling through YouTube Shorts, because I don't really touch TikTok, and it's just like, Find me a goddamn person. Find me I don't want AI videos. I really don't. It's boring. Literally boring. But again, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the one that isn't with the times, and AI, personalities are the future. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think AI is something that you want to see more of, or you'd like to see less of? And I open that kind of forum for you guys to talk about it, because the reality is, I'm just one man shouting at a screen. But either way, I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, especially comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you all next time. Have a good night, guys.
It's a cash grab extravaganza, spinning games like a bonanza, but we all know the answer. It's a cash grab extravaganza. Sparkly lights and shiny screens, promising us brand new dreams, but it's all the same it seems, just a ploy for more greens. We'll queue up in the line,